Did the man who sold over 1 billion records feel like he was singing to an empty room? Why did someone with an entourage so large it had a nickname, the Memphis Mafia, record songs about being completely alone? Was the star of 31 feature films just playing a part, or was the heartbreak on screen a reflection of something real? Could a person who received 50,000 letters a week in his prime still feel unheard? Number 15. Why is the past a place you can never leave? Elvis Presley's mother, Gladys, died on August 14th, 1958. He was 23 years old and serving in the U.S. Army. He was granted emergency leave to see her one last time, but arrived in Memphis just hours after she passed. He never fully recovered from her death. In 1960, he recorded Are You Lonesome Tonight?, a song originally published in 1926, which became one of his most iconic performances of longing for a past that was gone forever. Even in his final years, he would often talk to his father, Vernon, about Gladys as if she were still there. The past was not a foreign country for Elvis. It was the house he lived in. His music is filled with ghosts. It's a landscape of memory, often painful, always present. The idea that what is gone can never be truly escaped is a powerful and recurring theme. It's not just nostalgia for a lost love. It's a deeper, more profound sense of being haunted. Look at the song Always on My Mind. He recorded it in 1972, shortly after his separation from Priscilla. The lyrics are a direct confrontation with a past that is filled with regret. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have, he sings. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. This is not a man looking back fondly. This is a man wrestling with his own failures. He is trapped by his own actions, by the memory of what he did and did not do. The song is an attempt at an apology, but it's too late. The past has already happened. The pain is in the fact that he can see his mistakes so clearly now, but he cannot go back and fix them. He is forced to live with the memory. This theme started much earlier, and I forgot to remember to forget a 1955 Sun recording. The entire song is about the failure to escape a memory. The title itself is a paradox. He wants to forget, but the act of trying to forget is a form of remembering. He sings about the passing of a single day, from morning to night, and how every moment is a trigger. The morning sun is shining bright. It's just the loneliest day in sight. The problem is not the present. The problem is that the present is completely colored by the past. The song is deceptively simple, with a country shuffle rhythm. But the lyric is a trap. He is running in circles trying to get away from a thought that lives inside his own head. It's a perfect picture of being haunted. Even in his movie soundtracks, a place often filled with light and trivial songs, this motif appears. In Can't Help Falling in Love, from 1961's Blue Hawaii, the lyrics seem romantic on the surface, but there is a sense of inevitability, of being pulled by a force stronger than himself. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. This can be seen as romantic surrender. But it can also be seen as a surrender to a powerful emotion that connects to the past and dictates the future. Love, in this context, is not a choice. It is a memory in the making, another thing that will one day haunt him. The ultimate expression of this theme might be Memories, recorded for his 1968 comeback special. The song is a beautiful, sad waltz. It's a montage of moments from a life. Memories pressed between the pages of my mind, memories sweetened through the ages just like wine. He sings of a sleeping child, a warm and tender kiss, a wedding day. But the sweetness is tinged with loss. These are things that are gone. The final verse is devastating. Of a child who's born, then walks away, and leaves a random blessing for the day, that she will come to me when I am old, to close my eyes, her hand in mine to hold. He is looking forward to his own death as a final sweet memory. The past is not just something he looks back on. It is the destination he is headed toward. He isn't trying to escape it anymore. He is hoping to become one with it. For Elvis, the past was not just a collection of stories. It was a living thing. It was a room he could never leave. Number 14, is there a sadness deeper than a broken heart? Elvis Presley met Priscilla Beaulieu in Germany when she was 14 years old. He was 24. They were married 8 years later in 1967. The ceremony at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas lasted only 8 minutes. Less than a year before their divorce was finalized in 1973, Elvis recorded Burning Love, an upbeat rock song. It was his last top 10 hit in the United States during his lifetime. This juxtaposition of a failing personal life and a professional demand for high energy performance points to a different kind of sadness. It's a sadness that goes beyond a simple breakup. It's the ache of spiritual emptiness. It's the search for meaning in a world that feels hollow. Elvis was a spiritual seeker. He read countless books on religion and philosophy. He was looking for answers. This search, and the loneliness that came with it, is all over his gospel music, and it bleeds into his secular songs too. Consider his performance of How Great Thou Art. He won his first of 3 Grammy Awards for this recording in 1967. When he sang this song, it was not just a performance, it was a desperate plea. It was the sound of a man trying to connect with something bigger than himself. The power in his voice is the sound of his own smallness in the face of the universe. He is reaching for God, for meaning, for a sense of peace that his fame and fortune could not provide. The sadness here is existential. It's the feeling of being a poor wayfaring stranger, a theme he also sang about, just traveling through this world. This emptiness is not always so overtly religious. It appears in his pop songs as well. Suspicious Minds, recorded in 1969, is a song about a relationship being torn apart by mistrust. But listen closer, we're caught in a trap I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. The trap is not just the relationship. The trap is life itself. It's the feeling of being stuck in a situation you cannot escape, whether it's a bad romance or a life you no longer control. The frantic energy of the song, the famous false fade out and roaring return, mirrors a desperate struggle against this feeling of being trapped. He is trying to break free, not just from a suspicious lover, but from a deeper sense of confinement. And then there is a song like In the Ghetto, also from 1969. This was a brave song for a mainstream artist at the time. It tells the story of a boy born into poverty in Chicago who grows up angry and hungry, buys a gun, and dies, just as another baby is born into the same circumstances. On the surface, it's a song of social commentary. But for Elvis, it was also a song about fate and helplessness. He felt a connection to the story. He was born in a 2-room shotgun shack in Tupelo, Mississippi. He knew poverty. The song's deep sadness comes from its cyclical nature. The story will repeat itself, and his hungry little baby cries. There is no escape. This is not the sadness of one person's life. It is the sadness of the human condition, the feeling that some patterns are unbreakable. It's a profound sense of despair. Even in a seemingly simple ballad like Love Me Tender, from his first movie in 1956, there is a hint of this emptiness. The melody is based on the Civil War song, Ora Lee. The lyrics are a plea for love. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. He is asking for love to make him whole. He is looking for something outside of himself to fill a void inside. The song is beautiful, but it is also the sound of a man who is incomplete. The sadness is in the asking. It's the admission that he is not enough on his own. He needs love. He needs God. He needs something to fill the space inside. The heartbreak of a failed romance is a sharp, specific pain. The sadness of spiritual emptiness is a dull, constant ache. It was an ache that Elvis carried with him, and it gave his voice a depth and a sorrow that fame could not erase. Number 13, How Do You Beg When You Have Everything? In 1956, Elvis Presley appeared on The Milton Berle Show. His suggestive performance of Hound Dog caused a national outrage. Critics called him vulgar. Just weeks later, he appeared on The Steve Allen Show and was forced to sing the same song to a basset hound while wearing a tuxedo. He was the biggest star in the world, but he was still at the mercy of others' demands. The act of humbling himself, of pleading for acceptance, was a core part of his story. This motif of pleading, of begging for love and understanding, is one of the most consistent in his music. It's a strange position for a king, but Elvis's musical persona was often not that of a king, it was that of a man on his knees. This vulnerability was a key to his connection with his audience. He wasn't afraid to sound desperate. Don't Be Cruel was the B-side to Hound Dog. It became a massive hit in its own right. The lyrics are a straightforward plea. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. He is laying himself bare. He is admitting his own powerlessness in the face of his feelings. I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. The genius of the performance is the contrast between the confident, stuttering vocal delivery and the complete vulnerability of the words. He sounds cool, but what he is saying is the opposite of cool. He is begging. This theme becomes even more intense as his career progresses. In Suspicion, from 1962, he is pleading for reassurance. The song is a catalog of anxieties. Every time you kiss me, I'm still not certain that you love me. Every time you hold me, I'm still not certain that you care. The entire song takes place inside his own worried mind. He is begging his lover to, darling, if you love me, I beg you, wait a little longer. He is asking for time to overcome his own paranoia. It's a painful, raw performance. He is not a confident lover. He is a man consumed by doubt, pleading for a reason to believe. Then comes the 1970s. The desperation deepens. The Wonder of You, a live recording from Las Vegas in 1970, is a song of pure devotion, but it comes from a place of personal failing. When I was so lonely, you were there to comfort me, and I know that's why you're mine. The subtext is that he doesn't deserve this love. It's a gift he can't comprehend. He sings about his own foolish pride and careless ways. His lover's understanding is the wonder of you. He is not her equal. He is a flawed man who has been saved by her grace. He is pleading with her and with the audience to see the goodness in her that he feels he lacks in himself. Perhaps the most raw and desperate plea in his entire catalog is If I Can Dream. He recorded it for the finale of his 1968 comeback special. The song was written specifically for him, inspired by the recent death of Martin Luther King Jr. It is a plea for a better world. There must be lights burning brighter somewhere, got to be birds flying higher in a sky more blue. His voice is shredded, raw with emotion. He sounds like a man at the end of his rope. If I can dream of a better land, where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why, oh why can't my dream come true? This is not just a song. It is a prayer. It is the sound of a man who has seen the world's cruelty and is begging for it to change. He had everything the world could offer a man. He had fame, wealth, and adoration. But his music shows us that he was often on his knees, pleading for love, for trust, for peace, for a little bit of kindness in a cruel world. The king, it turns out, was a master of the art of begging. Number 12 is a promise, a hope, or a prison. On May 1st, 1967, Elvis Presley married Priscilla Beaulieu. He was 32 years old. He had promised her father years earlier, when she was still a teenager, that he would marry her. He kept that promise. But the marriage was troubled from the start. Friends and insiders have said he felt trapped by the obligation. The wedding itself was a small, quiet affair, organized by his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, to generate publicity without disrupting Elvis's movie schedule. The idea of a promise and the weight that comes with it is a recurring theme in Elvis's music. A promise is supposed to be a source of comfort and security. But in his songs, a promise is often a heavy burden. It's a source of pain, a reminder of what was lost, or a cage from which he cannot escape. A Fool Such as I, recorded in 1958, is about the pain of a broken promise. The singer offers his love, but it is refused. Now. And then there's A Fool Such as I. He knows he is being foolish to even hope, but the song is structured as a series of promises he would make if only he were given the chance. Pardon me if I'm sentimental. When we say goodbye, don't be cruel to a heart that's broken and so lonely. The promises are all in his head. They are unspoken vows of devotion to someone who doesn't want them. The sadness comes from the weight of a promise that can never be made, a future that will never happen. The theme of a broken promise is also central to I'm So Lonesome, I Could Cry. Elvis's version of the Hank Williams classic, recorded for his 1973 television special Aloha from Hawaii, is a masterpiece of despair. The song is a list of sad images, a whippoorwill that sounds too blue to fly, a falling star that fades away. But the core of the song is a promise of love that has been shattered. The silence of a falling star lights up a purple sky, and as I wonder where you are, I'm so lonesome I could cry. The promise was that they would be together. Its breaking has drained the world of all its color and joy. His performance is subdued, almost funereal. He is a man living in the ruins of a promise. Sometimes the promise is a trap. In Mari's The Name His Latest Flame, a 1961 hit, the singer runs into an old friend who tells him about his new love. The friend is happy and excited, but then he reveals the name of his new girlfriend, Marie. It's the singer's own lost love. The final lines are a gut punch. Though I smiled, the tears inside were burning Marie's the name of his latest flame. The hidden promise here is the one the singer made to himself, the promise that he was over her, but he is not. He is trapped by his feelings, by the memory of a promise she made to him. Every time he sees her or even hears her name, the prison door slams shut again. The weight of a promise can also be a weight of responsibility. In An American Trilogy, another powerful performance from his 1970s shows, Elvis combined three 19th century songs: Dixie, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and All My Trials. The song is a sweeping statement about the American experience, but it is also about a promise. All my trials, Lord, soon be over. This is a promise of redemption, of a better future, but the performance is filled with a heavy sadness. He sings of dying, he sings of struggle. The promise of peace feels very far away. He carries the weight of history in his voice. The promise is not a light, happy thing. It is a burden that has been passed down through generations. For Elvis, a promise was never simple. It was a source of pain when broken, a prison when remembered, and a heavy burden even when it offered a glimmer of hope. It was the sound of a man who understood that sometimes the things that are meant to hold us together are the very things that tear us apart. Up number 11, What Does It Mean to Hide Behind a Smile? In the 1960s, Elvis Presley made 27 movies. The formula was almost always the same. He played a charming hero, sang a few songs, got the girl, and everything ended happily. He was often smiling on screen, but during the same period, he was growing increasingly frustrated with his career. He hated the scripts, he hated the songs, he felt like a joke, the smile was a mask, he was a millionaire, a global icon, and he felt like a clown. This theme of the crying clown, of hiding deep sadness behind a happy facade, is a subtle but powerful motif in his work. It's the sound of a man putting on a show, both for the world and for himself. It's the ache of knowing that what people see is not who you are. Are You Lonesome Tonight? Is the ultimate expression of this theme. He recorded it in 1960, right after leaving the army and re-entering public life. The song is structured like a play. He asks, "Am I standing there foolishly smiling?" The stage is a metaphor for his life. He is an actor playing a part. The stage is bare, and I'm standing there with emptiness all around. He is surrounded by the props of a happy life, but he feels nothing. The most telling part is the spoken word section. I'd rather go on hearing your lies than to go on living without you. He is asking someone to help him maintain the illusion. He would rather live in a beautiful lie than face a painful truth. This is the very definition of hiding behind a smile. This idea appears in more upbeat songs too. Return to Sender, a hit from the 1962 movie Girls, Girls. Girls seems like a fun, lightweight rock and roll song. It's about a man whose letters to his girlfriend keep coming back stamped Return to Sender. But there's a quiet desperation in the story. He keeps trying. He hands a letter to the mailman in person. He mails it from a special delivery box. He refuses to accept that it's over. The cheerful, catchy tune is a mask for the singer's obsessive denial. He is smiling and singing while his heart is being broken over and over again. He is putting on a brave face, but the situation is deeply sad. The theme becomes darker and more explicit in the 1970s. In I'm Leavin', a 1971 single, he sings about walking away from a life that has become unbearable. There's a reflection in the mirror of a man, I don't know. He no longer recognizes himself. He has been playing a part for so long that he has lost his own identity. The song is not angry. It is weary. It is the sound of a man who is too tired to keep up the pretense. I'm leaving because I'm tired of deceiving. The deception is not just of others, but of himself. The smile has finally cracked. Even on stage, in the triumphant Las Vegas years, this theme was present. He would often make fun of himself, his own image, his own songs. His self-deprecating humor was charming to the audience, but it was also a defense mechanism. It was a way of distancing himself from the larger-than-life caricature he had become. The famous Lawing version of "Are You Lonesome Tonight?" is a perfect example. During a live performance, he sees a bald man in the audience and starts laughing uncontrollably during the spoken word part. It's a hilarious and human moment, but it is also the sound of the mask slipping. For a moment, he is not Elvis the icon, the actor on the stage of his own life. He is just a man who finds something funny. It's a crack in the facade, a brief glimpse of the real person hiding behind the smile. The world wanted a smiling hero. Elvis gave them one. But his music often tells the story of what that smile cost him. It was the sound of a man who knew that the brightest lights can cast the darkest shadows. Number 10 is Rain a Storm or a Cleansing. On his last concert tour in June 1977, Elvis Presley often performed the song Unchained Melody. He would sit at the piano, his body bloated and his health failing. His voice, however, was still a force of nature. When he sang the line "and time can do so much," his voice would crack with an almost unbearable sadness. Outside the arenas, it was summer, but inside, with Elvis, there was often a storm brewing. Rain is a constant presence in Elvis's music. It's more than just weather. It's a symbol of sorrow, of loss, of a world washed clean of color and warmth. But it's also sometimes a symbol of hope, of a cleansing that allows for a new beginning. This duality makes it a powerful and recurring motif. The most obvious example is Kentucky Rain, a 1970 hit. It's a story song. The singer is walking and hitchhiking through the cold Kentucky rain, searching for a woman who left him. The rain is a physical obstacle. It makes his journey harder. Walking with the rain in my shoes, searching for you. But it is also a reflection of his internal state. The cold rain mirrors the coldness in his heart. The storm outside is a perfect match for the storm inside. He is miserable, and the world around him is miserable too. The song ends with him still searching. There is no resolution. He is left alone, drenched in his own sorrow, and the falling rain. The rain can also be a more gentle, pervasive sadness. In Crying in the Chapel, a gospel song he recorded in 1960, but didn't release until 1965, the setting is a place of peace. But the singer's emotions are still raw. You saw me crying in the chapel. The tears I shed were tears of joy. He claims they are tears of joy, but the melody is melancholic. The act of crying suggests a release of deep, pent-up emotion. It's a cleansing. The chapel is a refuge from the storm of life. The tears are a quiet, personal rain that washes away his pain and allows him to find peace. The sadness is still there, but it is being transformed into something else. But the rain is most often a symbol of heartbreak. In I'll Remember You, a beautiful ballad he performed in the Aloha from Hawaii special, he sings about a love that is ending. As they have to part. The song is a farewell. He sings, "Long after this endless summer has gone, I'll be lonely, oh so lonely, living only to remember you." The summer is ending, and the rain is coming. The memory of the sun and warmth will be all he has left to get him through the cold, rainy days ahead. The rain here is the future. It is the long, sad, empty time that stretches out before him after love is gone. This theme appears even in his early rock and roll songs. "I'm Gonna Sit Right Down and Cry Over You" from his 1956 debut album is a defiant declaration of sorrow. I'm gonna sit right down and cry, and the rain's gonna fall from my eyes. He is not just sad, he is going to perform his sadness. He is going to create his own personal rainstorm. The song has a jaunty, almost cheerful rockabilly beat. This creates a strange and powerful tension. He is singing about a storm of tears, but he is doing it with a rock and roll swagger. It's as if he is trying to control the storm to turn his pain into a source of strength, but the rain is still there. It is the central image of the song. For Elvis, rain was the sound of a heart breaking. It was the cold reality of a lonely road. It was the tears of a man in a chapel. It was the storm that raged inside him, even when the sun was shining. Number 9, what if the road leads nowhere? Elvis Presley spent much of his life on the road. From his first tours in the family car in the mid-1950s to the private jets of the 1970s, he was constantly moving. He performed in hundreds of cities, but he was also a homebody who loved the comfort of Graceland. This conflict between the urge to wander and the need for a home is at the heart of his music. The road in his songs is often a lonely place. It's a symbol of searching, of running, of a journey that never seems to end. The motif of the lonely road appears very early. In Mystery Train, one of his final recordings for Sun Records in 1955, the train is a powerful, mysterious force. Train I ride, 16 coaches long. The train is taking his baby away from him. He is left standing on the platform, helpless. But then, in a final, defiant verse, he declares that the train will never take her away again. It's a burst of youthful confidence. But the image that lingers is the train rolling down the tracks, taking away what he loves. The track is a road that leads to heartbreak. This theme becomes more personal and painful over time. Long Black Limousine, from his legendary 1969 Memphis sessions, is a tragic story. It's about a hometown girl who leaves to find fame and fortune in the city. She promises to come back a star. And she does. She returns in a long black limousine. But she is not sitting in the back seat waving to the crowds. She is in a casket. The limousine is a hearse. The road to fame was a road to ruin. You finally made the big time, I guess. The song is a bitter and devastating critique of the dream of escape. Sometimes the road doesn't lead to a better place. It just leads to the end. The road is also a place of internal searching. In Promised Land, a 1974 hit, he sings a Chuck Berry song about a journey across America. He travels from Norfolk, Virginia, to Los Angeles, the Promised Land. The song is upbeat, a driving rock and roll number. He is a poor boy on the move, looking for his destiny. But even in this optimistic song, the journey is hard. He has to get through Tidewater, Virginia, and Houston, Texas. The road is a series of obstacles to be overcome, and the final destination, the Promised Land, is just a phone call. He calls home to tell people he has arrived. The grand journey ends with a simple human connection. The road itself was the real experience. The destination is almost an afterthought. But most often, the road is a place of loneliness. I'm a Lonesome Fugitive is a Merle Haggard song that Elvis never officially recorded, but its theme fits his catalog perfectly. He was a fugitive from his own life, a man on the run from the pressures of his own fame. This is the feeling that pervades songs like Kentucky Rain. He is on the road, but he is not going anywhere good. He is just moving through his own misery. The road is not a path to freedom. It is an endless circle of searching and not finding. In his final years, this theme became almost literal. He toured relentlessly. He moved from city to city, from one hotel suite to another. The road was his life. But it was not a life of adventure. It was a life of routine and isolation. He was on a journey, but he was standing still. The road was a treadmill. This is the deep sadness behind the motif of the road in his music. It's the story of a man who was always moving, but who never seemed to arrive. The journey was long, the limousine was black, and the Promised Land was always just a little further down the track. Number 8, how can a house be a prison? Elvis Presley bought Graceland in 1957 for $102,500. He was 22 years old. It was a home for his parents and a symbol of his success. He lived there until his death in 1977. For the public, Graceland was a palace, a fantasy. For Elvis, especially in his later years, it became a gilded cage. He rarely left its grounds. The gates that kept the fans out also kept him in. This idea of imprisonment, both literal and metaphorical, is a recurring theme in his music. It's the feeling of being trapped by love, by fame, by life itself. The walls are not always made of stone. Sometimes they are made of expectations of memories of your own mind. The most famous example, of course, is Jailhouse Rock from 1957. On the surface, it's a fun, high-energy novelty song about a party in a prison, but the setting is still a jail. The warden threw a party in the county jail. The whole story takes place within a system of confinement. The characters are all inmates. They are making the best of a bad situation, but they are not free. The song is a celebration of rebellion within a locked down world. It's an explosion of energy in a place that is designed to crush the human spirit. The joy is real, but so are the bars on the windows. The theme of being trapped by a relationship is a constant in his love songs. Suspicious Minds from 1969 uses the word trap explicitly. We're caught in a trap I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Love is not a safe harbor. It is a prison. He and his lover are trapped together by their own emotions, their own mistrust. They cannot leave, and they cannot find peace. The song's relentless rhythm, its lack of space, mirrors this feeling of suffocation. There is no escape. This is not a house of love. It is a jail cell for two. This feeling of confinement extends to his own life and fame. In If I Can Dream, the 1968 finale song, he sings of a world lost in darkness. As I look around me, I see a world where I can't be free. He is talking about the state of the world, but he is also talking about himself. He was one of the most famous men in the world, and yet he could not go for a walk down the street. He could not go to a movie or a restaurant like a normal person. His fame had built a prison around him. Graceland was his sanctuary, but it was also his cell. The song is a desperate cry for liberation, for a world where he can finally be free. Even in his gospel music, this theme appears. Peace in the Valley, a song he performed on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1957, is a prayer for release. He sings of a place where the bear will be gentle and the wolves will be tame. This is a vision of a world without threats, without cages. The current world, the one he lives in, is the opposite. It is a place of struggle and fear. The Valley of Peace is a destination he longs for, a place to escape the prison of earthly life. The sadness comes from the knowledge that he is not there yet. He is still trapped in the world of bears and wolves. From the literal prison of Jailhouse Rock to the emotional prison of Suspicious Minds, from the gilded cage of Graceland to the spiritual prison of a troubled world, Elvis often sang from the perspective of a man behind bars. He was a prisoner of love, a prisoner of fame, a prisoner of his own legend. His music was often the sound of a man rattling the bars of his cage, dreaming of a world where he could finally walk free. Number 7. Who Are You When the Cheering Stops? On December 3rd, 1968, the television special Singer Presents Elvis aired. It is now known as the 68 Comeback Special. It was his first live performance in front of an audience in over 7 years. Dressed in black leather, he was raw, dangerous, and brilliant. The special was a massive success. It revitalized his career, but it also set the stage for the next phase of his life, the Las Vegas years. For the next 8 years, he would perform over 600 shows in Las Vegas alone. The cheering never seemed to stop. But what happens when it does? This question haunts his music. The theme of being alone, of facing the silence after the show is over, is one of the saddest and most powerful motifs in his career. It's the loneliness that can only be felt by someone who has stood in front of thousands of screaming fans. Heartbreak Hotel, his first million-selling single for RCA in 1956, established this theme immediately. The song is a stark, minimalist blues. It describes a place at the end of Lonely Street. It's a place where broken-hearted lovers go to die. The desk clerk's dressed in black, and the bellhop's tears keep flowing. This is not just about a breakup. It is about a profound, almost gothic state of isolation. The hotel is a metaphor for the loneliness of the human heart. It's a place where everyone is together in their separateness. It's the ultimate lonely crowd. For a man who would spend thousands of nights in hotel rooms on the road, this song must have felt deeply personal. The theme is explored in a more intimate way in Are You Lonesome Tonight? The song with its spoken word bridge, feels like a late night phone call. Or he is alone in his room talking to a memory. I wonder if you're lonesome tonight. He is projecting his own feelings onto a lost lover. The key line is, the stage is bare, and I'm standing there with emptiness all around. The show is over. The audience has gone home, and he is left alone with his regrets. This is the stark reality behind the glamour of being a performer. The applause fades, but the silence can be deafening. This feeling of isolation was a constant in his life, even when he was surrounded by people. His entourage, the Memphis Mafia, provided him with company and security, but they were on his payroll. It created a strange dynamic. Was their friendship real, or was it a job? This sense of being fundamentally alone, even in a room full of friends, is the deep sorrow that fuels many of his ballads. In Separate Ways, a 1972 song recorded after his split from Priscilla, the loneliness is specific and domestic. It's a sad, sad state of affairs we're in when the best of friends must part, but the most heartbreaking lines are about their daughter. And it's, not her fault that we have to be living in two worlds of misery. He is not just losing a wife. He is losing a home. He is facing the reality of an empty house, of a family broken apart. The cheering of the Las Vegas crowds could not fill that kind of silence. Even in a song like Love Me, a desperate plea for affection from 1956, there is a sense of underlying loneliness. Treat me like a fool, treat me mean and cruel, but love me. He is so desperate for connection that he will accept any kind of attention, even negative attention. This is not the request of a confident man. It is the cry of someone who cannot bear to be alone. It is the sound of the silence becoming too loud. From the gothic despair of Heartbreak Hotel to the quiet desperation of a late-night confession, Elvis gave voice to the loneliest feeling in the world, the feeling of being alone after the party is over. He was the king, but he ruled over an empty room. Number 6, Can You Still Be Betrayed by Someone You Love? In July 1972, Priscilla Presley left Elvis. She had begun a relationship with Mike Stone, her karate instructor. Elvis had introduced them. The betrayal was profound, and it shattered him. Although he had his own numerous affairs, this was different. This was the woman he had molded from a teenager into his ideal partner. This was the mother of his child. This experience of betrayal, of being deceived by someone you trust, echoes throughout his music long before and long after this personal crisis. The theme of betrayal is one of the rawest in his catalog. It's the shock of discovering that the person you thought you knew is a stranger. It's the pain of a knife in the back, especially when it's delivered with a kiss. Blue Moon of Kentucky, one of his first recordings for Sun Records in 1954, is a classic country waltz that Elvis transformed into something new. He kept the original waltz time for the first part, then kicked into an upbeat 4/4 rhythm, but the lyric is pure heartbreak and betrayal. I said Blue Moon of Kentucky, keep on shining, shine on the one that's gone and left me blue. His love has left him for someone else. The moon, a traditional symbol of romance, is now a witness to his pain. The betrayal has turned the whole world, even the sky, into a shade of blue. This theme of cheating and deception is central to Little Sister, a 1961 hit. The singer is warning his ex-girlfriend's little sister about the dangers of men like him. But he is also complaining about how his ex-girlfriend treated him. Well, I used to date your sister, but I couldn't stand her cheating ways. The song has a driving, almost angry beat. It's a bitter and cynical take on love. He has been betrayed, and now he sees betrayal everywhere. The trust is gone. He assumes everyone has cheating ways. The ultimate anthem of betrayal in his catalog is Suspicious Minds. And recorded in 1969, it's a song about a relationship that has been poisoned by doubt. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe a word I say? We don't know if the betrayal is real or just imagined, but that doesn't matter. The trust is broken. The relationship is caught in a trap. The song's powerful, almost claustrophobic arrangement creates a sense of paranoia. The backup singers repeat, caught in a trap, reinforcing the feeling of being imprisoned by suspicion. The betrayal here is not a single event. It is a constant state of being. It's the death of a relationship by 1,000 small cuts of doubt. After his divorce, the theme became even more personal. In You Gave Me a Mountain, a song he started performing in 1972, he sings of the incredible burdens he has had to face in his life. He lists them one by one: a father's death, a mother's tears, a lonely world. But the greatest burden is the betrayal of his partner. This time, you gave me a mountain I may never climb. The song is not just about the pain of the breakup. It's about the sheer weight of the betrayal. It's a burden so heavy that he feels he may never recover. His live performances of the song were filled with immense power and pain. He was not just singing a song. He was testifying about his own life, from the simple country complaint of Blue Moon of Kentucky to the paranoid trap of Suspicious Minds to the epic sorrow of You Gave Me a Mountain. Elvis explored every facet of betrayal. It was the shock, the anger, the doubt, and the crushing weight of a broken trust. It was the sound of a man who knew that the deepest wounds are often inflicted by the people you love the most. Number 5, is it braver to fight or to surrender? Elvis Presley was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1958. He was at the absolute peak of his fame. He could have requested a special assignment entertaining the troops. Instead, he chose to serve as a regular soldier. He was stationed in Germany for 18 months. He did his duty. He surrendered to the authority of the army. This act of surrender, of giving up control, was a defining moment in his life. It also reflects a deep theme in his music, the struggle between fighting for what you want and surrendering to a power greater than yourself. This motif of surrender is complex. Sometimes it is a romantic surrender to love, sometimes it is a fatalistic surrender to destiny, and sometimes it is a spiritual surrender to God. It is often presented as an act of strength, not weakness. Can't Help Falling in Love from 1961 is the perfect example of romantic surrender. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. He is not making a choice. He is being pulled by an irresistible force. He is giving in to his feelings. The song is a gentle waltz. The melody flows downward like a river heading to the sea. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. This is total surrender. He is not fighting it. He is embracing it. It is presented as the most natural thing in the world. But surrender can also be a response to pain and loss. In It's Now or Never, his best-selling single, recorded in 1960, the surrender is more urgent. The song is based on the Italian song O Sole Mio. The singer is pleading with his lover. It's now or never, come hold me tight. There is a sense of desperation here. He feels that this is his last chance for happiness. Tomorrow will be too late. It's now or never. My love won't wait. He is surrendering to the moment. He is letting go of his pride and his fear and simply asking for what he wants. He is surrendering to the power of the present. The theme takes on a spiritual dimension in his gospel music. In Peace in the Valley, he is surrendering to God's will. He is asking for an end to his earthly struggles. The song is a plea for a world of peace, but it is also a personal act of submission. He is giving his troubles to a higher power. This is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of faith. He is admitting that he cannot solve all his problems on his own. He needs help. He is surrendering his ego in the hope of finding peace. The flip side of surrender is the fight. Elvis also sang many songs about defiance and rebellion. Jailhouse Rock is a fight against conformity. A Little Less Conversation is a demand for action, but often his most profound performances are about the moment of letting go. In Bridge Over Troubled Water, a Simon and Garfunkel song that he turned into an epic anthem in his live shows, the themes of fighting and surrendering come together. The singer's making a promise to a friend in pain. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough. He is offering to be a fighter, a protector, a bridge. But to accept this help, the friend must surrender. They must let go of their pride and allow themselves to be supported. Elvis's performance builds from a quiet whisper to a thunderous orchestral climax. It's the sound of a monumental struggle. But at its heart, it is a song about the grace of surrender. It is about the strength it takes to let someone else carry you when you can no longer stand on your own. For Elvis, the ultimate battle was not against others. It was against himself. It was the struggle to know when to fight and when to lay down his arms and surrender. Number 4, why does love always feel unbalanced? In the hundreds of love songs Elvis Presley recorded, a strange pattern emerges. Love is rarely a partnership of equals. It is almost always a relationship of imbalance. One person is begging, the other is cruel. One person is a devoted worshiper, the other is a distant goddess. One person is a fool, the other is wise. This theme of unrequited or unbalanced love is a constant source of sadness in his music. It's the pain of loving someone more than they love you. This motif is there from the very beginning. In Blue Suede Shoes, a Carl Perkins song that Elvis made a global hit in 1956, the singer is laying down the law. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes. It's a fun, tough guy stance, but it's also a strange priority. And he is more concerned about his shoes than his relationship. It's a playful song, but it hints at a disconnect, an imbalance in what matters. The theme becomes more explicit in ballads like Love Me. The lyrics are a shocking display of unequal love.
Treat me like a fool, treat me mean and cruel, but love me. He is willing to accept any kind of abuse, as long as he is not abandoned.
He has no power in the relationship. He is completely at the mercy of his lover's whims. The song is slow and tender, which makes the desperation of the lyrics even more unsettling. It is the anthem of someone who believes they do not deserve to be loved well. This imbalance can also be one of worship. In The Wonder of You, he puts his lover on a pedestal. You give me hope and consolation. You give me strength to carry on. She is his savior, his guide. He, on the other hand, is a flawed, foolish man. When you smile, the world is brighter. You touch my hand and I'm a king. His entire sense of self-worth depends on her. This seems romantic, but it is also a huge burden to place on another person. It is not a relationship of two whole people. It is a relationship of a broken man, and the woman he believes can fix him. The pain of unrequited love is the purest form of this imbalance. One-sided love affair, from his first album, says it all in the title. If you don't want me, why don't you tell me so? Instead of letting me go on loving you so. He is stuck in a relationship that only exists in his own mind. He is giving his love and receiving nothing in return. It's a portrait of frustration and quiet humiliation. Even in Always on My Mind, a song of regret after a breakup, the imbalance is still there. He admits his own failings. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. But the song is still about his feelings, his regrets, his realization. He is asking for a second chance. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. We never hear her side of the story. The focus is entirely on his experience of the unbalanced relationship. He was the one with the power, and he misused it. Now he is the one who is powerless, and he can only hope for forgiveness. This recurring theme of unbalanced love is one of the most human and relatable aspects of his music. It's the feeling of not being enough, of loving too much, of being left behind. Elvis was the king of rock and roll. He was an object of desire for millions. But in his songs, he was often just a man standing on the wrong side of a one-sided love affair, wondering why the scales never seemed to balance. Number 3, does time heal all wounds or just create new ones? On August 16th, 1977, Elvis Presley died at the age of 42. His last number 1 hit on the country charts during his lifetime was Moody Blue, a song recorded in 1976. The title is a perfect description of his later years. His music from this period is haunted by a sense of an ending. He was not an old man, but he often sang like one. He was looking back on his life, and he was contemplating his own mortality. The theme of time, of aging, and of facing the end is a quiet but persistent sorrow in his work. It's the understanding that everything, even love and life itself, is temporary. It's the race against a clock that can never be stopped. This theme appears in subtle ways in his early work. The songs about lost love are also songs about the passage of time. I Forgot to Remember to Forget is about how time has failed to heal a wound. The memory is as fresh today as it was when the breakup happened. Time is not a healer. It is a container for pain. As he got older, the theme became more explicit. In Memories from the 1968 special, he sings a waltz that is a montage of a life. Memories pressed between the pages of my mind. He sings of childhood, of love, of marriage. The images are sweet, but they are all in the past. Time has turned these vibrant moments into faded photographs. The song is a beautiful meditation on how time transforms our lives into a collection of stories we tell ourselves. The final verse looks forward to his own death as the last sweet memory. He is not fighting time, he is accepting its power. In I My Way, a song he made famous in his later concerts, the theme is front and center. And now, the end is near. And so I face the final curtain. The song is a defiant summary of a life lived on its own terms. I've lived a life that's full, I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. It is a proud statement, but it is also a final statement. It is a song sung from the perspective of someone who knows the end is coming. The pride is mixed with a deep sense of finality. The curtain is falling. The passage of time is also felt in his choice of material. He often sang songs that looked back on a lost world. In the Ghetto is about a cycle of time that repeats endlessly. An American Trilogy is a connection to a historical past. He was drawn to songs that had a sense of history, a sense of a world that existed before him and would exist after him. Or perhaps the most heartbreaking expression of this theme is his 1977 performance of Unchained Melody. He sits at the piano, his body clearly unwell. He sings the song with a passion that is almost unbearable. When he sings the line, "And time can do so much," his voice is filled with an ancient sorrow. He was a man who had experienced so much in his 42 years. Time had given him everything. It had made him a king. But time was also taking everything away. It was taking his youth, his health, his family. The song is a prayer for love to outlast time. God, speed your love to me. It is a desperate plea against the inevitable. It is the sound of a man who can feel his time running out. For Elvis, time was both a friend and an enemy. It was the source of his sweetest memories and his deepest regrets. It was the river that was carrying him and all of us towards the same final shore. Number 2, What If You Never Really Left Home? Elvis Presley was born in a 2-room house in Tupelo, Mississippi. When he was 13, his family moved to Memphis, Tennessee. He lived in Memphis for the rest of his life. He traveled the world, but Graceland was his anchor. The American South was not just a place on a map for him. It was the source of his music, his accent, his manners, and his soul. This deep connection to home and the sense of yearning for it when he was away is a powerful and sad motif in his work. It's a sadness born of nostalgia. It's the feeling that the best days are behind you. It's the ache for a simpler time, a place of safety and belonging that can never be fully recaptured. This theme is woven into the very fabric of his sound. The blues, the country, the gospel music he grew up with are all sounds of the South. They are sounds of the land, of the church, of the front porch. When he sings, you can hear the Mississippi Delta and the Tennessee hills. In Blue Moon of Kentucky, he takes a bluegrass standard and makes it his own, but he keeps the core of its regional identity. The song is not just about a lost love. It is about a Blue Moon of Kentucky. The place is as important as the person. The landscape is a part of the heartbreak. The yearning for home becomes a literal theme in songs like Dixie. He included this controversial song as part of his American Trilogy. For him, it was not a political statement. It was a song of home. I wish I was in the land of cotton, old times that are not forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. It's a song of pure, unadulterated nostalgia. It is a dream of a place and a time that no longer exists, and perhaps never existed in the way it is remembered. The sadness comes from this gap between memory and reality. The home he yearns for is also a spiritual home. In his gospel music, he is a poor wayfaring stranger, a man just passing through this world on his way to a better home. In Peace in the Valley, he sings of a place where he can finally be at rest. This heavenly home is a place of ultimate safety and belonging. His earthly home, as much as he loved it, was still a place of trouble and sorrow. The ultimate home was somewhere else. This feeling of being an exile, even in his own house, is part of the deep sadness of his later years. He was the king of Graceland, but he was also a prisoner there. He was home, but he was not at peace. The home he longed for was not just a building. It was a feeling. It was the feeling of being a young man in Tupelo with his whole life ahead of him. It was the feeling of his mother's love. It was the feeling of a time before fame had complicated everything. In the Ghetto, he tells a story set in Chicago, but the sensibility is Southern. It's a story about poverty, about family, about a cycle of life and death that is universal, but which he understood through the lens of his own Southern upbringing. He was the poor boy from Mississippi who made it big, but he never forgot where he came from. He never forgot the boy in the shotgun shack. This is the great paradox of Elvis's life and music. He was a global superstar who never really left home. He carried Tupelo and Memphis with him everywhere he went. His music was a constant conversation with the past, with the place that made him. This gave his work a powerful sense of authenticity, but it also gave it a deep and abiding sadness. It was the sadness of a man who knew, no matter how far he traveled, that he could never truly go home again. Number one, are you truly crying if no one hears you? In 1956, Elvis Presley recorded "I'm Gonna Sit Right Down and Cry Over You." It was a track on his debut album. The song is a declaration. He is not going to hide his sorrow. He is going to perform it. He is going to make a spectacle of his own tears. This act of taking a private emotion and turning it into a public performance is the central theme of his entire career. It is also the source of its deepest sadness. The motif of crying is everywhere in his music. It is in the titles "Crying in the Chapel." It is in the lyrics, "The bellhop's tears keep flowing." It is in his voice, that famous quaver, that break that sounds like a heart tearing in two. But this crying is almost always a performance. It is a sound made for an audience. And this raises a heartbreaking question. If your job is to cry for a living, can your own tears ever be truly your own? In Heartbreak Hotel, the tears are part of the scenery. The bellhop is crying, the lovers are crying. It is a world saturated with sorrow, but it is a stylized, almost theatrical sorrow. It is the blues as a stage play. In "Are You Lonesome Tonight?", he describes himself on a stage with emptiness all around. His crying, his heartbreak is part of the play he is acting out. He is performing the role of the jilted lover. The performance is brilliant. It is moving, but it is still a performance. This is the fundamental tragedy of Elvis Presley. He was a man of deep and genuine feeling. He felt joy and he felt sorrow with an incredible intensity. And he had a once-in-a-generation talent for communicating those feelings through song. The world heard him. The world felt with him. But in the process of sharing his emotions with millions, he may have lost them for himself. His sadness became a product. His heartbreak became a hit record. Consider the song "Don't Cry Daddy." He recorded it in 1969. It's a story told from the perspective of a child whose mother has gone. The child asks his father not to cry because mommy will be home again soon. The child is trying to comfort the father, but the father knows the truth. It's a devastatingly sad song. And Elvis's performance is filled with a genuine sounding pain. But at the end of the day, it was a single. It was played on the radio. It sold millions of copies. The intimate family tragedy was transformed into mass entertainment. This is not to say his emotions were fake. They were profoundly real. But they were always filtered through the lens of performance. He was the crying clown. He was the king on his knees. He was the lonely man in the spotlight. These were all roles he played. And he played them so well that it became impossible to tell where the man ended and the role began. The deepest sadness in all of Elvis's music is this paradox. He was a man who cried in front of the entire world. His voice was the sound of a breaking heart. But because everyone was listening, perhaps he was, in a strange way, completely alone. His tears were so public that they ceased to be private. They belonged to everyone. And a tear that belongs to everyone can't really belong to you. He was the man who was going to sit right down and cry. And he did. He sat down in the studio, on the stage, in front of the cameras, and he cried. But behind the performance, behind the music, was a man whose truest tears may have been the ones that no one ever heard.